commission this library in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and to the glory of God. Amen.
Basically, the book says, during the time of Jesus, Jerusalem was under the control of the Romans, and a Roman army officer, a centurion, was always appointed to oversee affairs in the city. I'm telling you, I'm so sorry.
How do you feel today receiving this book?
In fact, I'm so excited. Knowledge is power. And with this book, our children are going to be current, especially with the rhymes and so many stories that they need in their school. I'm very much excited. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Are you sure that these books will actually be utilized for the purposes?
Of course, it will. Because see, these are what the children really need, especially their spare time. When they come around in the evening, they have to sit down here, go through the books, and you can see them sharing the stories. So actually, it's going to help them.
How are you going to make sure that they are not being torn and they are safe?
Oh, we are going to take good care of that. We have provision for that. We make sure that when they come here, somebody will be with them, give them the books they need to read, after which they have to return it back to the right position. We will take care of that. Yeah, thank you.
What is your name?
My name is Ezekiel Bukbola.
Bukbola. Are you happy for the library?
Yes,
How are you going to use it?
I'm using it like happy.
Hmm?
Like
Speak out.
I am happy in this library for what you done for us. Thank you.
Thank you. It's going to be.
Okay.
This is your first arrival from people bringing books for the library. This is the first time.
Some people has come before,
Okay.
but this seems to be the second and third. Yes.
How do you feel?
We feel very, very happy because we appreciate gestures like this from outside, because it's just, if it's a child, the school is still a child and we are growing. So this is a great step towards a greater height, and we appreciate it.
How are you going to preserve the books for rain so that they will not spoil?
Yes, we have the intention of roofing the classes and raising the blocks. Then we are going to keep the building intact. Then we are going to cover the library and we'll have somebody in charge, which will take care of the day in and day out activities of the library.
Do you think that there's any way government or corporate organization can help in moving it fast because we're in rainy season?
Yes, we have written to some organizations, and some organizations that have visited the home have also promised, but actually we have not seen them, and we hope they will come some days.
So what are your pleadings?
We are pleading to private organizations and the government to come to our aid, because the orphans need assistance seriously. So the earlier they come, the better for us. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
How have you been able to, your organization, how has it been? How easy is it?
It's not really easy though, because we have to campaign. We have to meet a lot of people to come together to contribute their own quota. Now the reason why we'll be able to commission about 7 libraries now. We have about 9 more to go. That we'll have to go to Benue next week. And this campaign, not even here, we've sent some books to some other organizations in Niger Republic. So what we're doing, we're trying to see how we could empower the next generation, how we could bring out the reading culture in these children, because they need to be well informed what is happening. Now the river brought this idea of commissioning libraries in the orphanages. And we can appeal to the caregivers that even once a day, an hour, to read just a story for them at least. Let them go through what we too have gone through when we were little kids and everything. And we're appealing to all Nigerians. I believe that all these children are our own children and they're the part of the next generation. It's our own responsibility, not the government alone, because we are the government. We need to put our head together to bring the best out of these kids. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves to blame tomorrow, because you like it or not, in the next 10, 20 years, they're all going to be adults, and they will be what we let them to be, either good or bad.
Is there any challenges so far?
Yeah, challenges are logistic, because today now we have to pay some cars to assist us, take some material. I guess within Monday till today, we spent over about 45,000 naira moving all the materials down here to Gogolada and everything. So we're appealing to people that can assist us with logistics, trucks, vehicles. The campaign is still on. We're not going to stop till we make sure we commission about 17 to 18 libraries and 18, 17 orphanages within Abuja, Nasarawa, Benue, and Kogi.
How many nights, man?
We've done about 7, our remaining 9.
So,
We're on our way to Benue next week. We're doing Benue on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Then we'll come back. Then we'll start Nasarawa and Kogi. Thank you. Slap, you look video. You don't slap.
Hey. We're doing it maybe today. Just watch
For
news.
the next 3 months.
teaching staff, in terms of laboratories and workshops for training, in terms of technologies and technicians, as support staff, in terms of overall, administration of the academic programs. It is only those programs that possess the required standards that are actually granted accreditation. Those that are found deficient are usually, either granted deferred accreditation status or interim accreditation status if the deficiencies are not very serious, or denied accreditation altogether, and they are dropped from the directory of accredited programs of the board. In other words, the program that they are running has no recognition. The whole purpose of accreditation is to ensure that we have competent human resource for the development of our country and the economy. Scaling.
Okay. Those schools, those institutions that fail accreditation and then are allowed, I don't know how to put it now. They fail accreditation and still, allow students to come and pass through their courses and all that. And then at the end of the day, the students, when they come out with their certificates, it's like you've not really gone to school. What is the board doing to such institutions?
Well, we would like to think that the polytechnics and similar institutions that are running nationally recognized programs like national diploma, higher national diploma, and so on, they are only doing so with accreditation. Wherever we are alerted to an institution that is pretending to be running national diploma or higher national diploma program without accreditation, the board immediately calls them to order. In fact, they are taking a big risk because what they are doing is an illegality. And the products they are producing are not employable in most cases, because employers often refer back to the board when they have any doubt about the authenticity of any program that is running. So we wouldn't like to think that there are institutions that are running national programs without accreditation. But wherever the board's attention is drawn to such institution, it actually immediately takes action to bring them to order.
Thank you.
Yes. You are welcome.
Okay, I'd like to know, to you, what does this training workshop mean?
Now, the training workshop is for resource persons. And the whole aim is to maintain quality in the polytechnic system. So you find out that before you can maintain any quality, you must tell people, or they must know, what are the necessary ingredients for that quality. And so this workshop is to train the resource persons so that when they go to the various institutions, they will know what they will expect and they will know what to ask for, so that at the end of the day, there will be standard in all the polytechnics. And the whole idea is that most of the people in the polytechnic system, some of them do not even know what is required of them. And those of us who are resource persons, by the time we come here and we know what is required of us, when we go back, we will tell our institution this is what is required, so that when accreditation exercise comes up, we'll have been better prepared, so that when the resource person will come for accreditation, we'll be ready for them. And I think this is the major reason for the organization of this workshop. Thank you very much.
What is the camera? The camera.
Okay.
We just want to find out what you expect at the end of this workshop.
Okay. We expect at the end of this workshop to be fully equipped, to be able to know what to do when we go to polytechnics and monotechnics for accreditation exercises, to be able to know the parameters to use in form of accreditation, to be able to look at the minimum requirements, in most of the programs that are existing in the polytechnics and see if they meet, if what is existing in the institutions are meeting with the minimum requirements that is necessary to run such programs.
What is the situation now in this country?
Well, the situation is a general thing that all of us know, that funding, generally people are talking about funding, and you need money to be able to equip these institutions, especially the polytechnic education that is that you need practical orientation. So you need a lot of equipment, you need a lot of materials, you need money to be able to equip these institutions. And so generally the understanding is that there's no money, and most of these things are not available, especially in the laboratories and the workshops and the necessary equipment that you need to be able to effectively teach these courses according to the curriculum. But it is when we get there that we'll be able to now see what is on ground. Already, MBTE has already brought out minimum standards that must be met. Well, it depends on the program. It depends on the program. Minimum standards in terms of number of lecturers, minimum standards in terms of facilities in the laboratories, minimum standards in terms of classrooms requirements, minimum standards in terms of workshops that should be made available to be able to deliver and teach the curriculum that is provided. So we just have to get to the institutions and see what is on ground and compare with the minimum standards set. Thank you very much.
Like the Catholic, gather in their churches to receive ashes on their forehead, which the priest says remind the faithful of sin, death, and the need for repentance. Drawing from the biblical significance of ashes, according to the book of Job 42, 3-6, putting ashes on oneself was a pertinent way of expressing sorrow for sins. What then is expected of a Christian this period? Some of the faithful speak on what the day means to them. The Lenten season ends on the Good Friday. Thank you.
Of water, Professor Oleyede said, with academic lectures of this nature, University of Ilorin is positioned with collaborations with other universities in the world to improve academic performance. The Dean of the Faculty of Science, University of Ilorin, Professor Joshua Obaleye, said the lecture would go a long way in contributing towards the success in achieving the faculty's goals and objectives. Professor Obaleye said the lecture would be of benefit to both the communities and Africa at large. He appealed to the Vice-Chancellor, University of Ilorin, to equip the Faculty of Science with the necessary facilities